was working before. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Crawford, world language teacher, and I'm so happy to welcome you to Luiza Araujo's senior speech. Please join me in welcoming Luiza's parents, Fernanda and Andre Araujo. Luiza's siblings, Bruna, Vera, Eduardo, and João, are also here to support her. Please welcome them. Now, Luiza joined prep for the 24-25 school year, giving us just this one incredible year, this incredible senior year, to get to know her and to love her. She has been such a welcome addition to my advisory, as well as her friend groups and her classes. Her global perspective has enhanced and enlightened many conversations, and her topic today bursts with pride for her home, Brazil. Being an international student and spending significant amounts of time in different countries has enriched her life, certainly, but it has also led to some humorous situations and some stressful moments. While at prep, Luiza has brought energy, skill, and height to our volleyball and soccer teams in the upper school. She has cheered on her fellow athletes with the student section. She has traveled around the deli section with the cheese club. And she is obsessed over lyric references with the Taylor Swift club. She is an involved and supportive big sister, watching over her siblings and helping them navigate not merely a new environment, but also having to think and speak in English all day long. She is responsible and kind with a fantastic sense of humor. Just wait. She brings a bit of international flair to our school, but underneath her well-traveled exterior, she is much like any other student here. She enjoys reading, creative writing, traveling, hanging out with friends and family, discovering new restaurants, and watching movies. I asked Luiza for some of her observations after spending the past few months in the United States. Take a listen. One of her first cultural shocks was observing that all her friends had cars and were able to drive, because in Brazil, people only start driving after high school when they turn 18. Football and homecoming traditions are very different. Brazil doesn't have American football, so they also don't have the school dances or homecoming court. Luiza found attending the football games really fun, and she was absolutely thrilled when she won Homecoming Queen. After one football game, her friends took her to Waffle House for the very first time and made her try all their favorite foods. They also introduced her to all the different American fast foods. That could probably be a whole speech unto itself. The variety of cereals in U.S. supermarkets really surprised her, as well as the number of people who walk around in pajamas out in public. In Brazil, everyone, yes, everyone, greets you with a hug and or a cheek kiss. So it feels very awkward for Luiza to just shake hands. With English as her second language, Luiza finds herself in some funny situations. She mispronounced the word tong, instead saying thong. And she once forgot how to say toes and just described it as a finger of my foot. Hayden has decided that Luiza sounds like Gru from Despicable Me. I don't see it. Luckily, she has a great sense of humor and can laugh at herself. So, get ready for a cultural journey, a bit of education, and some poignant memories as we welcome Luiza to the stage.
Thanks to Eric Crawford for being an amazing advisor, and also for my family for being by my side no matter which country I'm in. As you may know, I was born and raised in Brazil, and since you have been so welcoming to me and introduced me to your culture, I decided to briefly do the same with mine. So today, I'll talk about my home country and demystify some stereotypes. Before moving to the US, I lived in Canada for a year. While there, I got to know people from China, India, Turkey, France, Germany, and the indigenous part of Canada. Being exposed to so many different cultures made me realize how most people don't have any idea of how interesting and diverse our world truly is. During my year in Canada, I was regularly faced with the same concepts and stereotypes about Brazil, which at first frustrated me, since they all sounded ignorant and rude. And if I'm being honest, I do feel some of these people who ask me those questions had bad intentions. I realized, however, that most of these questions originated from a simple lack of knowledge and exaggerations in the media. With that in mind, I would like to start by presenting some of the questions I have heard while living outside of Brazil and demystifying the stereotypes that come with these questions. First of all, the most common one I hear is, do you speak Spanish? This is fairly understandable since we're the only country in Latin America that speaks Portuguese. Not Brazilian, but Portuguese. However, questions often get a little strange, such as, have you ever been kidnapped? Have you ever been shot? Or had a gun pointed to your head? For those who are curious, the answer is no. Surprisingly, living in Brazil is very different from being in an action movie. You can't imagine the amount of times I heard the next one. Are you part of a gang? Now, what surprised me the most when I heard this question was that someone actually thought that I looked like a gang member. I also hear a lot of, have you met Neymar? And, oh my god, you play soccer? And look, I get it. Brazil is the land of Neymar, Pelé, and 5 World Cup titles. But just because you're born in Brazil doesn't mean you come out of the womb doing bicycle kicks. And since our last school soccer match, I had people questioning my nationality, I guess the answer to this question is no. Some of us were not born with a gift. Despite my sub-Neymar performances, soccer is a big part of our culture. We do in fact love soccer. I even have a video to show my seamless excitement when one of the soccer players on our state team notices during a game. Then, there are the Amazon forest related questions. Do you live in a jungle? Do you live in tree houses? Do you have clean water? You think of Brazil and immediately assume I grew up in the jungle, running away from jaguars, swimming on the river, and riding a canoe to school. No, I do not wrestle on the pawns in my free time. I grew up in a regular city with traffic, Wi-Fi, tall buildings, and get this, paved roads. I think the most intriguing one for last, which is how it is to walk naked on the street. If I'm being really honest, the first time I heard this question, I felt very insulted. I remember it as if it was yesterday. It was my first year of school in Canada. I was thrilled to be in a new country and to meet new people when a group of classmates came to me and started asking questions a 6-year-old shouldn't be asked. Later on, I realized Brazilians, especially the women, are extremely sexualized outside of the country. Through my journey living abroad, I have been called by many inappropriate names, implying I was dumb, incapable of doing something aggressive, or a tropical voice would fire. And all of that for what? Because I was born in Brazil? Now, it has become easier for me to differentiate when someone is generally curious about my country, making a joke, or actually trying to offend me. Speaking up with these cues have made my life way easier. To sum up, I don't mind when I get asked genuine questions. It is nice to see that there are people interested in my culture. It is important, however, to confront the harmful stereotypes exaggerated by the media. You can probably relate to me when you hear people from outside of the US saying all Americans are loud, obese, and self-centered. So, if Brazil is not actually full of naked gangsters playing soccer in the jungle, what is it? I would like to walk you through the 5 different regions of Brazil. Keep in mind that just as Texans are culturally different from New Yorkers, Brazilians in different states have unique traditions and lifestyles. Starting with the north, it is the largest region of Brazil, covering around 45% of the country's land. It is dominated by the Amazon rainforest, home to an astonishing 10% of the world's biodiversity. The north isn't only about the forest, but also full of history and tradition. For example, in Manaus, the largest city of the north, there is an opera theater built in the 19th century called Teatro Amazonas, which hosts yearly opera festivals. The food is also incredible. Forget everything you know about acai balls. In the north, acai is more thick and sweet in it, and they eat it with fish. I couldn't forget to mention one of the most known folklore stories, the legendary Boto, a pink dolphin that, according to the Amazonian folklore, shapeshifts into an irresistible, handsome man at night to charm women and impregnate them. The pink dolphin, in fact, exists. I'm not so sure about the becoming a man and impregnating a woman part, though. Moving to the northeast region, it has everything. Jaw-dropping beaches and a history that includes cowboys and epic battles. When you visit Brazil, you should not miss Fernando de Noronha, an island paradise so stunning it almost feels too perfect to be real. Located off the coast of the Northeast, it is known for its crystal clear waters, dramatic cliffs, and some of the most pristine beaches on the planet. Another incredible place is the Lençóis Maranhenses. This national park is a vast stretch of white sand dunes that rise like giant waves closing in time. Between the dunes, crystal clear freshwater lagoons form during the rainy season, creating a stunning contrast of colors that make you feel like you're walking through rain. The Northeast can also be considered Brazil's version of the Wild West. Back in the day, the Northeast had its own bandits. These guys roamed the countryside, dodging the law and wearing leather outfits. Their lifestyle was called cangaço, and it deeply influenced Brazilian literature. They became symbols of a specific form of literature called literatura de cordão. The name translates to string literature, and it's a uniquely Brazilian tradition of popular poetry in the form of small, hand-printed booklets, often sold at markets. The least known region is the Central West. It is the second largest region territory-wise and the seat of Brazil's capital. Despite popular reception, the capital of Brazil is not Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo, but actually Brasília. As you can see here, the capital city was designated to have the outline of an airplane. Because of its unique city plan and architecture, as well as its role in the development of the Brazilian interior, Brasília was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. Nature in the Central West is remarkable, featuring the Pantanal, the largest wetland forest in the world. If the Pantanal was overlaid in the US, it would be bigger than Florida. It also has the largest concentration of crocodiles in the world, with approximately 10 million caimanes. The Central West is also the home of the Brazilian country music sertanejo. The genre was originally known as música caipira, translated as redneck songs. The lyrics evoke the lifestyle of the countryman, often in opposition to man's life in the city, and the beauty of the landscape and romantic countryside. Now, moving to the best region of Brazil, the Southeast. The Southeast is the home of the most popular state in the country, with 85 million inhabitants in total. São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Espírito Santo, and Minas Gerais. The state of São Paulo is the home of the largest city in Brazil, also named São Paulo. It's a major urban center that combines work, living, and entertainment. The city never sleeps, and I mean never. If you thought New York was hectic, São Paulo just left and down another espresso. A popular and culturally important district called Liberdade is home to a high number of Asian immigrants. Its streets are decorated with traditional Japanese lanterns, and Liberdade hosts traditional events such as the Star Festival and Chinese New Year, attracting thousands of visitors every year. Now just imagine all the food. Moving on to Rio, the most popular tourist destination in Brazil, where breathtaking nature and urban life blend in the most unexpected ways. Rio is also home to one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Christ of the Redeemer statue. An extremely vibrant city, Rio hosts Brazil's most famous party, the Carnival, a week-long festival that leads up to Ash Wednesday, a Catholic holiday. One widely popular venue in Carnival is the Samba Parade. Samba schools compete for the title of Grand Champion, and festive parades with dances, songs, and sometimes impersonations. With its stunning coastline, rich culture, and a rhythm that never really slows down, you will always keep on your toes, usually in flip-flops. Although not as large as other states, Espírito Santo is a beautiful place, known for its beautiful beaches and amazing landscapes, such as Vila Velha and Vitória. Finally, the best state in the country, Minas Gerais. If you haven't guessed already, I was born in Minas, and I spent an entire hour just yapping about it. But since I don't have that much time, I promise I'll be brief. In Brazil, Minas Gerais is known for being the land of cheese, gold, and modesty apart, having the nicest people in the country. First things first, the name Minas Gerais means general mines, which already tells us what we were all back in the day. Gold, diamonds, and making Portugal rich while we got, less rich. During the 18th century, Minas was the center of Brazil's gold rush. Kind of like California, but instead of cowboys, we had colonizers in wigs spreading angry poetry about taxation. Now, let's talk about the food. Because if there's one thing that unites all Brazilians, especially the ones born in my state, it's our love for cheese. Shout out Cheese Love. We don't just eat cheese, we worship it. Our traditional cheese, Queijo Minas, is a semi-soft cheese, and it's so good it could probably solve world peace if you gave it a chance. And don't even get me started on pão de queijo. These little cheese breads are crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and 100% addictive. Not to brag, we were some of the friendliest people you have ever met. However, we also have a serious problem. We can't say goodbye quick. Our farewell is like a Lord of the Rings movie. Just when you think it's over, there's another scene. We'll say, I'm leaving, and then stand at the door talking for another hour. If you visit a person from Minas Gerais, be prepared. They will feed you, tell you stories, and probably not let you leave until you tried at least 3 different types of cheese. We believe that if you leave our house hungry, we have failed as human beings. Minas is also famous for its beautiful colonial towns like Ouro Preto, which look like they belong to historical drama with cobblestone street, Baroque churches, and the occasional steep hill that reminds you how out of shape you are. Moving on, I have to admit I had a hard time summarizing Belo Horizonte, my hometown. There are a million reasons why it's so special, but I'll only mention a couple. Firstly, we have one of the most intense soccer rivalries in Brazil. Atlético Mineiro versus Cruzeiro isn't just game, it's a war. Friendships end, families argue, and when Atlético win, as they should, the city turns into one big party. Of course, that's my childhood team, so I might just be a little biased. Beyond soccer, the city's countless restaurants are often the place where friends gather to eat, shop, talk, and enjoy each other's company. Belo Horizonte is a city that brings people together, whether eating cheese or cheering for their favorite team. In short, BH is passion, tradition, and the warmth of good company. The last region is the South. With 3 states, this region is heavily influenced by European culture, especially German. By this point, you've probably noticed that Brazilians take food very seriously. This region is known for having the best barbecue on earth. It features various cuts of meat, especially beef, grilled on skewers over an open flame or charcoal. There's also the chimarrão, a bitter herbal tea that they drink religiously. You might be neutral, but trust me, it's part of the experience. Now, don't be surprised if you visit the South and you feel like you landed in Germany. That's because the South was heavily influenced by German culture, and they brought with them Oktoberfest, beer, and many dishes I cannot pronounce. In fact, Blumenau, a heavily German-influenced city, hosts one of the world's biggest Oktoberfest celebrations. The South is also home to gorgeous beaches, and believe it or not, even snows in some areas during winter. Yes, Brazil probably has had more snow than Augusta. I hope this gave you a glimpse beyond the stereotypes, showing that Brazil is more than what you see in the media. It's a place of warmth, passion, diversity, just like any other. For my senior classmates, thank you for being so welcoming and kind to me during the last few months. It's hard to believe that now we're all preparing to go to college and start our own grown-up lives. So, embrace the big changes. Although they might seem scary, it will all make sense in the end. Thank you.